evening, everybody. This is a Spray Habits podcast. And I'm John. This is my partner, my dad, Mark. And we are a Spray Habits podcast. And Dad, guess what?
What?
Our business
Yes.
is John's Cricket Socks.
Okay.
I'm John, and our company, and our mission is spreading happiness.
That's quite the introduction, pal.
Yes,
Right?
Dad.
So, you're the son?
I'm a son, he's a father.
I'm the father?
And,
Yes.
and a husband.
Well, we're a lot of things. I'm a husband too, father, and, a Met fan, a Jet
And Met fan and grandfather.
Well, I'm not a grandfather yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Come September.
I can't
That'll be good.
excited.
And you'll be Uncle John.
Uncle Son.
And yes, we have a business, John's Crazy Socks.
Yes, just my idea. I love
John's idea.
Just my idea. I love me.
You love me. I love me a little me. And we have a mission then, and in this podcast, to spread happiness.
Yes.
And what do you say are the keys to happiness?
It's gratitude. And do for others.
Gratitude and do for others. Appreciate what we have.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Gratitude.
what we get and the people we know. And do for others. Boy, the more we do for others, the better off we are.
Absolutely. And change the world.
And we are. We like to say we're a couple knuckleheads selling socks. And all we want to do?
Change the world.
Change the world. And a lot of that is showing what people with different abilities can do. You have Down syndrome?
Yes, I am. I have Down syndrome. Down syndrome and never hold me back.
It does not. Why are you screaming so much?
Because I'm happy.
Because
today.
you're happy. Happy makes you scream, huh?
Yes, Dad.
Yeah, I know some people, they scream when they're not happy.
I know.
So, a little half-hour podcast here. All we want to do is put a smile on your face.
Yes.
Entertain you for about half an hour. Bring some good news. We got some good news stories. Talk about another business that's owned by someone with different abilities. And share what's on our mind, really what's on your mind.
I really mind right now.
What?
This week is about graduation week, and I'm wearing a scarf.
You're wearing a scarf. Okay, let's back it up a little bit. So, where do we live?
Huntington, New York.
We live in New York, out on Long Island. And here, the school year is just wrapping up now, and this weekend they're having lots of high school graduations. Because much of the country, John, much of the world, it ended earlier. College graduations were all in May, maybe early June. But you're celebrating graduation.
Yeah, guess what?
Yes.
I am wearing a gown.
Well, you're not wearing a gown. You're wearing a scarf. Now, why are you wearing a scarf?
Because I'm pretending.
You're pretending what?
I'm pretending a gown for graduation.
So then why are you wearing a gown?
What?
Why aren't you wearing a gown?
Because I want to pretend and
But why is a scarf like a gown? I don't get it.
because you said other title.
Oh, well, that's
state.
the particular one we have. It's the library card
library.
scarf.
School has a library.
Okay. It's fascinating following your logic. So it's the library card scarf, and a school has a library, and therefore you're thinking graduation.
Yes. And I wasn't wearing socks.
Well, you're wearing socks. So actually, we'll jump ahead. What's your sock of the week?
This week about the hustle.
The graduation socks. We have these special graduation socks called The Tassel is Worth the Hassle. The tassel is a little thing on top of your mortarboard.
Yeah, I know that is.
And traditionally, when they say, congratulations, graduates, you flip it over. You like that?
I love it.
For those people that have seen video, you want to show them the socks?
Yeah, can I?
You're going to have to lift your feet up.
I gotta go right away here.
Whoa!
Hey!
Oh, and I can tell you, they stink.
Thank you.
You had two graduation experiences.
I did.
High school, right?
Yes.
And the year before you graduated, which in some ways was really cool, or it was even cooler.
I'm really cool up. I speak a valedictorian speech to my good friend Todd Colvin.
So here's what happened. John's friend Todd Colvin had been named valedictorian at Huntington High School.
2013.
And the valedictorian gets to give a speech. And he also gets to pick someone to introduce him. And Todd asked John to introduce him.
Yes, he did.
You were very excited when he did that.
I am. I'm really excited.
But this was a challenge because John still had some speech challenges.
I do?
And you had to learn some big words. You had to learn to say your name.
Yeah, because of my last name
Right.
and the valedictorian. And also, I want to give a big shout out. I want to give a big thank you to a wonderful teacher I have right now. That's my speech therapist, Miss Lee. Miss Lee, thank you so much. Helped me the speech and take for anything you do.
And they worked for months.
And must.
And then the time came. And there we were out at the football, we'll call it a stadium.
Yes.
Packed.
All the
Not
pack.
a seat to be had, overflowing.
Yes.
It seemed like thousands of people. I don't know. Maybe 100,000 people. Not really. But it was a big crowd.
A big crowd.
And it came time. And the MC stood up and said, in very serious tones, and now we'd like to welcome John Cronin to the stage to introduce our valedictorian. And John came walking out on that
walking up
stage
there.
all by himself. And there's a lone microphone in the front of the stage. And John gets up there and he stands before that microphone like Johnny Cash. And you gave your speech.
I did.
And you nailed it.
Yeah.
It was awesome. That might be one of my favorite graduation ceremonies. And I've been to a lot. That was very cool.
I carried the banner.
You carried the banner in yours. Right?
My graduation.
Well, it used to be you'd had two graduations. You graduated from high school, graduated from college. Maybe you had extra if you graduated from graduate school. Like your mom went to a law school graduation. I went to my graduation at grad school when I got my master's up at Harvard.
Right.
And then you had your college, your high school graduation. Now, they got all these moving up ceremonies. At a preschool, at a kindergarten.
Graduation.
Go ahead, what were they?
It went to Tech.
Oh, now that was fair. You also had one at Wilson Tech. That was a different school, but that was high school because you split your time with two high schools.
Yes.
But I scratch my head a bit now. Like they have these moving up ceremonies, these graduations. I suppose we should be grateful when you celebrate that. But graduations are cool. They recognize the work you did. It's a chance, a lot of times what happens, I think, John, is we look ahead, we're working on something, a project, or we're trying to build an organization, we're trying to do something, and we look ahead. And then when we get there, we just kind of keep going. We look at the next thing, and we don't stop and enjoy it.
Absolutely.
So it's really good to stop and appreciate what you did. That was great, you graduated from school.
I did. I love going to school.
You love going to school, huh? I'm trying to think. My graduation from college was pretty good. The graduation, my graduation from Harvard was very cool because of the traditions. Harvard was founded back in the 1600s, long before there was the United States.
Wow.
And they have great traditions.
That is the thing.
So that was cool. And your mom's graduation from law school was very good.
And St. John's.
At St. John's, yes, that was very cool. It's pretty neat. Patrick's up at Colby, I like that.
Patty went to Cuppy.
So that's been good. You like graduations.
I love graduations.
You can congratulate people all the time.
Absolutely.
And now we have graduation socks if you want to celebrate their graduation by wearing graduation socks. We got something else going on.
Yeah, we do.
Today, we met with a representative from a medical study.
Yes.
Because you're enrolling in a new medical study.
Yes, I do.
That's very cool.
I'm really excited. I am looking forward to it.
So we should explain a little bit about this. We mentioned John has Down syndrome.
Yes, I am.
And there are some unique characteristics about people with Down syndrome. One of them, about 50% of people born with Down syndrome are born with significant heart defects. You had that. with 2 holes in your heart.
I love my heart.
And, and John had open heart surgery before he was 3 months old. But here's a curious thing. People with Down syndrome don't get heart disease. People with Down syndrome don't get tumor cancers. But one thing people with Down syndrome get, or are very likely to get, is Alzheimer's. So there are some medical studies out there that are looking at the connection between Down syndrome and Alzheimer's. Because if we can understand that connection, we may understand Alzheimer's more. And you had previously enrolled at a study up in Mass General in Boston.
Yes, I love Boston.
I know you did. And we drove up several times, and we did that in concert with one of our charity partners at a great organization called Lumines. Lumines, because they organize research into Down syndrome and Alzheimer's. But that study ended, so now, today, you signed up for a new one.
Yes.
And you're going to be going up to Columbia Presbyterian.
Yeah, this way my open heart surgery.
That's where you had your open heart surgery. That's where your brother Patrick was born.
And also my great aunt Jeannie.
Ah, Jeannie. And you're going to be going to the same building as her. My Aunt Jeannie, who I adored.
I love her.
And I got to take care of her the last decade or two. She passed away 2 years ago at age 95.
Yeah.
What a wonderful woman. But Jeannie had developed an essential tremor, which presents somewhat like Parkinson. So her hands would shake. And she had been a nurse all her life. She did really great work. She worked with the homeless and alcoholics down the Bowery.
She's a saint.
But she was very aggressive about her care, and she found that at Columbia Presbyterian, they were doing these neural implants. And this is like science fiction. So what they did, they cut open her skull, and they put the neural implant in her brain. And they ran a wire from that down into her chest, where they would put a battery pack. And because she had it on both sides, she had to put 2 in. And when they connected the battery pack and turned them on, the tremor went away. It was very cool, and they took really great care of her. But this is really good that you're willing to participate in this study, and your mom and I are going to participate too, because they want to see if there's a genetic connection.
Are you going to participate?
Yeah, we're enrolling. We're going to go through the cognitive test.
So much.
We're going to do the blood test, and we encourage you out there. This is how we advance science. We've got to do these studies. So you're going to be helping people. That's a good thing, son.
Thank you, Father.
That's a good thing to be doing, you and your medical studies.
I do. I love medicals.
The only request I had is I wanted to make sure.
Big, long needles.
Long needles that give you some shots. You're a good guy there.
Good Dad. And you are?
What?
You're a very funny man.
Oh, I'm a funny man, all right. So we have that. What else we have? Tomorrow. What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow is a big day. I am so happy. Tomorrow is I celebrate 43 years. My dad married my mom, our college sweetheart.
We never thought of ourselves as college sweethearts, but that's where we met. We met at Holy Cross. And yes, if we can make it till tomorrow, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I know.
But if we can make it till tomorrow, it'll be 43 years.
L.O.V. love.
L.O.V. love. And yes, I've told you the story the first time I met your mom.
Oh, and now the best.
It's the first night at college, and a different day and age, so this is 1976. Drinking age was 18, and I'm up there, I'm a freshman, and I want to drink, and I'm off at some parties. Now the parties end, and everybody's going to bed, and I am with my friend Rick Kavanaugh.
Rick Kavanaugh.
You know Rick. Rick is a great guy.
He is.
Rick and I are out wandering the campus, and we are looking for another party.
Yeah,
we're looking for somebody who might have some beer. And the campus is entirely dark. It is shut down. And then we see a light.
Except the one light.
We see one light on in a dorm. That's where we're going.
Oh, yes.
And we walk up there, we find this room, and when I walk in, who should be there but Your mom.
My beautiful mom.
That's when I first met her. And I'd like to say it was love at first sight, but it was really, can I have a beer? It's a funny thing. We get to go to a lot of weddings now. We were recently at our friend Joe and Susan's daughter's wedding. Teeny, you were there.
Yes,
It was
I
a great
did.
wedding. Your mom and I are going to Ireland for a wedding in
Oh,
late
I
October,
didn't want
November.
to.
And there's all this young love, and it's so wonderful. Everybody's happy and it's joyous. You know, wait until you're older. That's the way the love is now. It's richer and deeper than we ever could have imagined. But you know, it's love when you're changing bandages on your spouse.
I went to the wedding in Ireland.
Oh, you went to a wedding in Ireland?
I want my grandmother's relative.
You like going to weddings.
I did.
You're like a romantic. You're a big mush.
Oh, yes.
You're a big mush. Someday, you know,
Day.
I know you're looking for a date.
I am. I'm going to a speed date.
You're looking for a date. You'd like to find somebody, huh?
I'm going to a speed date.
Oh, right, you've signed up for a speed dating event.
I'm really excited.
You're excited for that. We got to play it. It's an old Todd Rundgren song when he was with a band called Runt, called We Gotta Get You a Woman.
I got you, woman.
It's hard, though, John. You meet plenty of women, except they're all over the place. You know, you were talking to one woman, I know you were getting along, but she lives in Florida.
Yeah.
You live in New York. That's a hard commute.
I know.
But don't give up hope, Al. Don't give up hope out there. You're going to find somebody.
Take that.
Yeah. What else we got going on? Well, this actually will lead into one of our stories of the week. I mean, the good news story. Voting. Voting is on people's minds. In New York, we just had primaries. We didn't have a vote in our district. There's the presidential debate tomorrow night. And big election coming in November. Oh boy. Lots of people talking about this. We believe it's very important to vote.
Yes.
And you always vote, don't you?
I always vote.
You make your voice heard.
Yes.
And that's really important. And John, boy, when we go to vote, John, you do so much research, don't you?
I did.
You read about every candidate. You read about their biographies. You read about their issues. You ask questions. You read about other matters on the ballot. We'd all be better off if we did what you do. But you never miss.
Right.
You vote in the school board election. You vote in the local, the town elections, the national elections, the state elections.
Right. I did. Can I talk about the vote?
Yeah?
And in Chicago.
Oh, I used to joke that when Mayor Daley was running, the father was running Chicago, that it was vote early, vote often. We can't joke about it now.
No, we can't.
It's kind of unfortunate. The U.S. has absolutely secure voting processes, but we have lots of people running around saying, no, they're not, they're rigged, and they go to court where you have to prove these claims, and they never do. It's unfortunate. You know, poll workers now get at risk, and they're getting paid peanuts to do a good civic duty and be out there. So it's really great, you know, that you go out and vote, and it leads to our good news story of the week. In Bristol, England,
Wow.
they're running classes to help people with differing abilities to learn how to vote and giving them extra help so that they can vote. That in the UK, there are 1.5 million adults with a learning disability who are eligible to vote. And you have to vote to make your voice heard. Because if you don't vote, you get ignored. And that's no good.
Right.
But here they are, they're running this program, and here's Angie, who's helping run it. It's important that people with learning disabilities can understand that there are reasonable adjustments can be made around voting, that they can get some help. And that's neat, because you vote all the time, you get help. But maybe somebody else could use some classes. We ought to look into maybe running a program that helps people learn how they can vote.
Right.
Would you like to do that?
I do. I like that.
We could set something up like that. Well, that'd be pretty good, John. Voting is important. And then you do a lot of advocacy work. We get to meet with a lot of elected officials.
Absolutely.
Because of the business, people will they'll listen to us. And that creates an obligation for us to speak up. So you've met with lots of members of Congress,
I did.
senators. You haven't met the president yet.
I'll someday.
Someday. I've met Joe Biden, but not when he was president. I met Barack Obama when I was working for his campaign. But we don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. We're friends with members of Congress who are Republicans. We're advocating for the rights of people with different abilities. That's what matters. That cool?
It's so cool.
Do you like going down to Washington, to Capitol Hill?
I do. I love it. I love it. I'm going to allow you everything.
I will tell them that story. I mean, here's one of the things that happens. We're down on Capitol Hill one day, and we get a phone call in the office from a customer in
Oh,
Houston.
yes.
You like this story?
Yeah, I love this story.
And she says, my mom works on Capitol Hill, and she's a big fan of John's, and she'd like to meet John. Do you think that's possible? And our colleague said, sure, and gave her my cell phone number and said, have your mom text Mark, and he'll connect with her. Who was mom?
Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi. So we got in to meet Nancy Pelosi, and, we're in a bad way in this country. If we disagree with you, frequently now what people do is they tear everybody down. There's no need for that. You can disagree and not have to tear people down, and in doing so, we often forget people's humanity. So Nancy Pelosi, I don't care where you are on the political spectrum, she's a 70-year-old, an 80-year-old grandmother, an Italian grandmother.
Right.
So you went in to meet her, and how'd she greet you?
She gave me a hug.
Gave you a hug,
Give
big
me a hug,
smiles. Did you like meeting her?
I love it. And one little thing,
Right.
and we have to sit there with her because
She showed you pictures.
I was showing a picture.
What'd she show you pictures of?
Former President George W. Bush, and I've been friend buddies with him.
You and the former president were sock buddies.
Sock buddies.
You used to exchange letters and socks.
I want to do one thing.
Yeah.
It's very important to us. We spoke with Nancy Pelosi. We talked about very important act of 14C for
Right.
a minimum wage.
So we're in there talking, this is all nice, but then it's, if we have this opportunity, it creates an obligation on our part.
Yes.
So we say, Ms. Pelosi, we have to talk to you about eliminating the sub-minimum wage, which is in Section 14C of the Fair Labor Standard Act of 1938.
1938.
And it allows organizations to pay people with a disability as little as 5 cents an hour. And we've been working to overchange that. It's changed a lot. There used to be 400,000 people paid that. Now it's down to about 40,000. But we still need to change that federal legislation. A lot of the states have been changing their legislation. You do a good job of lobbying, son.
Thanks, Dad.
All right. Let's turn to another one of our features. We like to highlight a business
The business.
that's owned by somebody with differing abilities. This week it is
This is Purely Patrick.
Purely Patrick out of Hyde Park, Vermont. Now, Patrick and his mom have a business, which is very cool. Patrick has cerebral palsy, so he has some limited movements. But here's what Patrick is able to do. Patrick is able to pour things and put things together. So what he does is he takes old milk bottles and he pours ingredients in them, dry ingredients for cookies, for brownies. We've had some of his stuff. It's delicious. Bird
So
mix,
good.
dog biscuit mix. So he gives you all the ingredients and it's layered so it looks beautiful. And then you can cook it up once you get it at home. Purely Patrick. He's so neat, and his mom does great, gives great support to him. And it shows. Don't look at what somebody can't do. Look at what they can do. Don't look at what Patrick can't do. Look what he did. He created his own business, Purely Patrick, and people love his products. You like that?
I do.
We've worked with Purely Patrick before. We've ordered from him. You can find him at purelypatrick.com. We put the address in the show notes. Go check that out, Purely Patrick.
Purely Patrick.
You want to hear something cool? His mom runs a bed and breakfast.
Yes.
And you know who stayed at that bed and breakfast once?
Yes. My brother Patrick and my sister-in-law Emily.
They stayed there. Small world. Small world.
Wow.
Okay, you got some jokes?
I do. I have real good jokes.
Let's hear some real good jokes. I would like to hear good jokes from you.
Can I share my jokes?
You can share your jokes, pal.
Did you hear the rumor about butter?
The rumor about butter. Tell me the rumor about butter.
Well, I'm not going to spread it.
Oh, jeez.
Why do we tell actors to break a leg?
Why do we tell actors to break a leg?
Because every play has a cast.
Okay.
Where does Batman go to the bathroom?
Where does Batman go to the bathroom?
The Batroom.
Oh.
What did the mayonnaise say when the refrigerator door was open?
What did the mayonnaise say when the refrigerator door was opened?
Close that door. I'm too bad to sing.
Okay, I'm learning a lesson from you. You like theme jokes, so I've got a theme. I've got some baseball theme jokes. And I don't want to make you look bad, so I got jokes that are just as bad as your
Oh,
jokes.
yeah.
Why are baseball players such terrible bowlers? Because they always throw strikes. Why was the baseball team always angry? They kept throwing fits. Why did the baseball player get arrested?
Why?
Because he stole second base. Why are baseball stadiums always so cool?
Why?
Because they're filled with fans. Oh, boy, this is tough. All right, last one. What do you get when you cross a baseball player with a monster? A double header. On that note, folks, I think we better be leaving. They're getting a hook. They're saying, get these guys out of here. All right, well, we hope we put a smile on your face. We hope we
did.
Shared some good news talking about graduations, anniversaries, love, voting, medical studies, jokes. Purely Patrick. Go check out Purely Patrick. And John here, if you want to find out more, where can people go?
I'm going at johnscrazysocks.com.
johnscrazysocks.com.
Don't forget the S.
No, johnscrazysocks.com. You go there, and at the bottom of the page, you can sign up for John's weekly dance party.
Yes.
You can, if depending when you're hearing this, you could sign up for our sock design contest or our Autism Can Do scholarship. You can sign up to take a tour of John's Crazy Socks. We're always looking to do things. Anyway, we'd love it if you gave us a review. Go to your favorite podcast platform. You like those 5-star reviews.
I love 5 stars.
Subscribe, and if you like it, share it with a friend. And if there's something we could do to make it better, let us know.
I click below.
Yeah, and saying hello to all the folks out there that have been emailing and sending us in. Deanna Powell's wearing her socks today. David's saying hello from Seville. John is saying hello all the way from the Philippines.
Wow.
You're making it around the world, John.
I am around the world.
All right, let's wrap it up. Say goodnight, Greasy.
Good night, Greasy.
All right, bye, folks.
Good night, Dad. I love you.
Okay, hey.